Have you ever wondered how chocolate is made? It's a tale that begins in the lush tropical rainforests of Central America, where the Theobroma cacao tree was first discovered. The ancient Mayans and Aztecs once revered these cacao beans, using them not just as a form of currency but also in sacred rituals. When the Spanish conquistadors arrived in the 16th century, they brought back this exotic delicacy to Europe. Initially, chocolate was a luxury savored only by the elite, as it was incredibly expensive and time-consuming to produce. But, as time passed, innovations in production methods and machinery made it more accessible to the masses, transforming this once exclusive treat into a staple sweet that's adored worldwide. From its ancient roots to its contemporary popularity, the journey of chocolate is as rich and diverse as the flavors it holds. Now, let's dive into the fascinating process of making chocolate. The journey of chocolate starts with a tree, Theobroma cacao. This is not just any tree. It's a tropical evergreen that thrives in regions close to the equator, and it's the one responsible for the sweet indulgence that we all adore, chocolate. The cacao tree is a marvel in itself. It grows to about 15 to 25 feet tall, and its branches are laden with colorful pods, each one a treasure trove of cacao beans. These pods, which can range in color from green to yellow to deep purple, are harvested by hand with the utmost care to avoid damaging the tree. Once the pods are harvested, they're cracked open to reveal the cacao beans nestled within a sweet, pulp-like substance. This is where the magic really starts. Each bean is a potential vessel for that rich, chocolatey flavor we all know and love. The next step is fermentation. The beans and pulp are scooped out of the pods and placed into shallow containers. The natural sugars within the pulp ferment, producing heat that changes the bean's chemical composition and kickstarts the development of that signature chocolate flavor. After a few days of fermentation, the beans are spread out to dry under the sun. It's a delicate balance, ensuring the beans dry out completely without losing any of their flavor. This drying process can take up to a week, but it's worth every second. Once the beans have dried, they're sorted and inspected. Any beans that aren't up to standard are removed. The remaining beans are then packed up and shipped off to chocolate makers around the world. Each step in this process, from growth to fermentation to drying, is carefully controlled. It's a labor of love, a testament to the passion and dedication of the farmers who cultivate these trees and harvest their pods. Now that the cacao beans are ready, it's time to turn them into the chocolate we all love. So, buckle up as we are about to embark on the next stage of our sweet journey. The world of chocolate is more complex and more fascinating than you might think. The transformation of cacao beans into chocolate begins with roasting. This is where the magic really starts to happen. Imagine a harmonious symphony of heat and time working together to bring out the rich, complex flavors hidden within the cacao beans. Roasting is the first step in the transformation process. It's not just about cooking the beans, it's about unlocking their full potential. The roasting process involves heating the beans at a high temperature for a certain period. This process is carefully monitored to ensure the beans don't burn or overcook. The roasting process varies depending on the type of bean and the desired flavor profile, but typically it's done at around 200 to 290 degrees Fahrenheit for about 15 to 20 minutes. As the beans roast, they begin to crack and pop, much like popcorn. This is a good sign. It means the flavors are developing nicely. The heat helps to break down the beans' complex sugars, releasing that familiar, intoxicating chocolate aroma. Once the beans have been sufficiently roasted, they are then left to cool. The next step in the process is grinding. The cooled beans are placed into a grinding machine which breaks down the beans into smaller pieces. This process releases the fat within the beans, known as cocoa butter. This combination of ground beans and cocoa butter forms a thick, rich paste known as chocolate liquor. Chocolate liquor is the basis of all chocolate products. It's not alcoholic, despite its name. Rather, it's a pure, unadulterated chocolatey goodness. It's thick, it's rich, and it's incredibly versatile. It can be further processed to produce a variety of different types of chocolate, from dark to milk to white. So there you have it, roasting and grinding. Two crucial steps in the chocolate-making process. Two steps that transform the humble cacao bean into something truly magical. Now we have our chocolate liquor, but we're not done yet. The next steps in the chocolate-making process are conching and tempering. Conching sounds like an odd term, doesn't it? But it's a crucial step in chocolate production. This process involves grinding the chocolate mixture for several hours, sometimes even days. During conching, the sharp cocoa and sugar particles in the chocolate are polished and smoothed out. Imagine the difference between a rough, uncut diamond and a beautifully polished gem. That's what conching does to chocolate. What's more, conching also helps in developing the flavor of the chocolate. The friction in the conching process generates heat, allowing some of the bitter acids to evaporate. This gives the chocolate a smoother, more mellow taste. So, the longer the conching process, the smoother and richer the chocolate flavor. Now let's talk about tempering. If you've ever wondered why high-quality chocolate has a glossy finish and breaks off with a satisfying snap, it's all thanks to tempering. Tempering is the process of heating and cooling chocolate to stabilize it. This ensures that the cocoa butter in the chocolate hardens into its most stable form. Tempering involves 3 steps: melting the chocolate, cooling it down, and then gently reheating it. The exact temperatures and times can vary depending on the type of chocolate, but the goal is the same: to achieve the perfect consistency and texture. Without tempering, chocolate can become dull and crumbly. It might also develop a white layer called bloom, which, while safe to eat, isn't very appealing. So tempering is not just a fancy culinary term. It's an essential step to ensure that your chocolate is shiny, snappy, and simply irresistible. So after the cocoa beans have been harvested, roasted, ground, conched, and tempered, we're one step closer to the final product. The magical transformation from a humble cocoa bean into a delicious chocolate bar is nearly complete. Now our chocolate is almost ready. Finally, it's time to mold and package our chocolate. With a sense of excitement, the smooth, velvet-like liquid chocolate is poured into molds. Each mold, a unique shape, is waiting to be filled with this luxurious creation. The filling of the molds isn't just a process, it's a form of art, a dance, if you will, between the chocolatier and the chocolate, a ballet of precision and care. As the chocolate finds its place within the confines of the molds, it begins to cool, its temperature dropping gradually. This cooling process is crucial. It's here where the chocolate hardens, taking on the shape of the mold. It's like a caterpillar in its cocoon, undergoing a transformation, preparing to emerge as a beautiful, delectable treat. Once the chocolate has cooled and hardened, it's time for the next step. The molds are gently tapped and the chocolate, now solid and firm, is eased out. It's a delicate process, one that requires the dexterity of a surgeon. For the chocolate is fragile, and any mishandling could result in cracks or breaks. But when it's done right, what emerges are perfect chocolate bars, each one a testament to the time and effort put into their creation. And then comes the packaging. Each chocolate bar is wrapped in foil, a protective armor that shields it from the outside world, preserving its freshness and flavor. The foil is then covered with a paper wrapper, the final layer of protection, embellished with the brand's logo and design. It's not just a wrapper, it's a promise of quality, a promise of a delightful experience that awaits within. The packaged chocolates are then boxed and prepared for distribution, ready to be shipped to stores around the world, ready to bring joy to countless chocolate lovers. And that, my friends, is how chocolate is made. From tree to bean to bar, it's a journey of transformation that results in one of the world's most beloved treats.